News channel after news channel after news channel. Ever wonder why they report the same news? This is Wake Up America.
Brought to you by Citizen Stringer.
The media has become absolute lunacy. What makes us different? We just tell the truth. Daily headlines, politics, social issues, focusing on headlines that the mainstream media ignores. Conservative to the core and honest, sometimes to a fault. Unapologetically American. Welcome to Wake Up America with your host, Stephen Oatley.
Well, let me close this door. Oh, God. Oh, I'm sitting down today. I'm just tired. I'm always tired. What's new? Welcome to the show. My name is Steve. This show is called Wake Up America. This is live. It's 5:01 on the East Coast. Today is Wednesday, April 20th. 420. Smoke it if you got it, unless you're allergic and puke all over the place, and then I suggest you don't do it. We're going to talk about cancel culture because I think people are getting confused here. It seems that way to me. I think people are getting a bit confused on what cancel culture is, who it applies to, and it seems that some are saying it's a good thing, right? Which doesn't make a lot of sense because the people that are now saying it's a good thing are the very same people that have been saying that it's a bad thing for months and months and months. So I'm a little confusion. Okay, there's a little bit of confusion there. For me. But first, this show is sponsored by Spartan Armor Systems. If you're unfamiliar with who Spartan Armor Systems are, Tucson, Arizona-based body armor manufacturer. They make some incredible stuff. In addition to the body armor, level 4 ceramic, all that stuff. In addition to that, they also have hats, they have shirts, they have patches, they have pouches, they have tactical plate carriers. They got a bunch of shit. stuff. They've got the Ghost Recon. I think that's what it's called. I should remember because I want it. Where it's a concealable T-shirt where you can put the soft plates in there that I have. I have the soft plates for a soft concealed, unit. But I like the shirt. That would be really cool. Yeah, check them out, SpartanArmorSystems.com. And if you use code YEET, that is YEET, you get 5% off your order. They had to cut back that percentage a little bit because a lot of crazy people were buying body armor in bulk with our code, and then apparently they were shipping it, possibly allegedly shipping it overseas, which I don't even know if that's true. I just know a lot of people were using the code and they had to say, hey, we got to slow this down a little bit. So use code YEET, you get 5% off your order. Score some sick protection. Check them out, SpartanArmorSystems.com. Use code YEET. By the way. All right, so let's first let's just run through the news headlines, and then I'm going to kind of rant for the majority of the show. I don't understand. I don't understand some of this stuff that actually I'm going to jump around today because I want to. First thing, Johnny Depp, okay? Johnny Depp has been his trial, or the trial with the defamation, Heard or whatever, who was Johnny Depp's ex-girlfriend or some ex-wife. She basically said Johnny Depp, beat her up, and then she wrote a Washington Post article, and he sued her a whole bunch, and now he's suing her for $500 million, and the lawsuit is actually taking place live. We showed it all day today on Citizen Stringer. We'll show it tomorrow. Johnny Depp was on the stand. He started on the stand yesterday. And I got to say, I was kind of surprised at just, his, how he talks, because he talks weird. But I suppose, method acting, whatever. I don't know. They're all actors. It's all kind of crazy. And for the past, I would say 10 hours of testimony, he's given this really big testimony about, I don't know what the hell. What was he even talking about? About this abuse, about how he was abused physically and mentally by this chick, right? There's a lot of things wrong with this whole picture in my mind, okay? And I don't know the way to say it. I don't care. If a guy stays with a woman that's abusing him, it's the same thing as a girl staying with a guy that's abusing him. I don't understand it. I don't understand the rationale. I understand, well, you have nothing to do, nowhere to go, but all those things don't apply in Johnny Depp's scenario. This guy is talking about all these incidents where this crazy ass lady, abused him physically, and then he's like, so I sent her home because we were in Australia filming, and I put her on a private jet and we sent her back to Los Angeles. And he talks weird, like he's British or something, but he's not. He's from Kentucky. That was news to me. The guy was born in Kentucky. I had no idea. But he spent a lot of time, and I see a lot of these big accounts on social media and Twitter all talking about how he's he's doing a really great job, and he's standing up for himself, and he's reliving all this old stuff, and he's really, presenting himself really well. And then, a lot of me is, and I've listened to the trial all day long. Fox News has had it on all day as well, and every now and then they break in and they give their legal analysis of how the case is doing. I don't understand. I don't understand how a guy could sit there and get punched in the face by a chick and not walk away. Like, seriously, just not walk away and be done with it. I can honestly say that it doesn't matter how many kids I have. If my wife ever punched me in the face, I would walk and take everything. And it would be the same thing if I hit her in the face. So I suppose part of me has no empathy or sympathy or anything. I'm interested in this case just because of the legal precedent it sets here in the state of Virginia, especially with anti-SLAPP and all that stuff, because it's pretty interesting. But it's just fucking stupid. Someone said, be careful, Steve. I was abused, and it's not easy as you think. And I'm sorry for your scenario. It's irrelevant to me. It's irrelevant to me on how easy it is, because everyone has the ability, or you don't, but you have the ability of picking up the phone, calling 911, and fleeing your fucking house. And if you don't have that ability, then it's a much bigger thing because you're kidnapped and you're being held against your will and all those things. And that's not what we're talking about here, because that doesn't apply to this Johnny Depp scenario. So everyone can talk about, well, be careful. I don't be careful on anything. And whoever you were that just said that, I'm not going to call out your name. But yeah, don't tell me to be careful when I'm stating my opinion on something that's fucking dumb. A grown-ass man can't walk away from a woman. You know, he talks about how he's never hit a woman or anything like that. And maybe he's just a sheltered, abused little baby. I have no idea. But I could honestly say that if a woman ever punched me in the face, I would walk away. I wouldn't even hit her. I would just walk away and just be like, I'm done. You fucking piece of shit. I'm done. And you would think that a guy would do the same thing. You know, but and so anybody that's trying to tell me to be careful about talking about this, you must be new here. Because, you know, we don't put on that, oh, we're not going to say stuff. And that kind of goes to like the whole cancel culture thing. So I'll talk about that right now, too. This show, I should have called it a fucking I'm done episode because there's so much news, but there's so many things that I'm just irritated by today. And so whatever. Newsflash, this is the effing I'm done. I'm probably going to curse. And if you have children watching, probably not the best show for that. Let's talk about this Disney stuff, and let's talk about all the cancel culture that's currently taking place in this country. Why is it that Republicans or people on the right cry about cancel culture left and right, and then they try to cancel other companies? It doesn't make any sense. Oh, you could say, well, I'm just doing what they're doing. No, you're literally doing exactly what you were complaining about other people doing. The big case now is with Disney because of this Don't Say Gay bill. For anyone that doesn't understand, Disney is fucking dumb. Like, it's dumb. Their shows suck, by the way. But Disney apparently spoke out about the Don't Say Gay bill, even though it's not a Don't Say Gay bill because the word gay isn't even in the fucking bill. That's what a lot of the liberals and the liberal media are calling it. Just to break it down real quick for you, real quick, like this bill that was passed in Florida, which has been, and other similar bills are being passed around the United States or being introduced around the United States. Apparently, this bill made it so that gender, in school, they're not going to talk about gender. They're not going to talk about this. They're not going to talk about that sexual related shit to kids that are younger than third grade. You can't do it. So, like, they do sex ed. And I had sex ed. I think I had it in middle school or something like that. Sex ed is a part of life. And I understand a lot of people right now are like, no, there shouldn't be any sex ed talk. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. You know what access kids have shit on, or what access now that children have with cell phones and the internet and friends and communication and talking. Everybody's making this big ass deal about all this shit. And I don't agree. Do I think a teacher should be talking about how he went on vacation with his boyfriend and blah, blah, blah? No, fuck that. No, especially not to little kids. And that is the reason for this bill. They don't want this indoctrination that's going around. And for everyone that says there's no indoctrination, for everyone that says there's no indoctrination, I just drop shit on the ground. That's all I'm doing. You watch. You want to tell me there's no indoctrination? I got something for you, motherfuckers. Want to see? You want to see? Watch this shit. Watch. Oh, I'll fucking find the button. Yeah, watch this shit.
Your children will work to convert all the sisters and brothers. Then soon.
Fuck. How can you say there's no indoctrination? Like, how can you say that's a San Francisco gay choir or whatever the hell? And I can only play a certain amount of that video because they're copywriting anyone that plays it because they want to get you fucking banned. Watch. So I'm just going to keep playing little segments. Just you all have to because I did. Shut the fuck up. Watch. No, I'm trying to find this particular. It's fucking, oh my god, it's so wrong. Wait. Listen.
You'll forget you were at that disco.
Shut the oh my god, it's driving me nuts. I'm trying to find here. I think this is it. Oh, that's not it.
Your children. Then we'll turn to you.
What? We're trying to convert your children?
Come on, try a little.
Fuck. All right, I can't even find the part. Damn it. All right, here it is.
We're coming for
if you want to understand why America is fucking a little concerned when you have a gay choir going out and saying, well, what are they saying, Steve? Let's ask.
Your children will care about fairness and justice for us.
Fuck that. No. So that's why we have bills and things that are going in place right now that are blocking people from communicating to children. Here's the truth, okay? Let me drop this down. Parent to parent, all right? Or parent to aspiring parent, or parent to grandparent, whatever the case may be. My wife and I are driving back from picking up the kids this weekend, right? In Jersey. They stayed in Jersey with the in-laws. We're driving back in the car, and then my wife she says something and says that my little guy, the younger one, is like, as like a retort, you know how like kids are like, no, you are, you're a big butt finger, like going back and forth. But my son, the little guy, says, he says, and I wasn't here, I didn't hear it, but he apparently says to my older boy, you like boys and you're gonna marry a man, as like an insult, right? And my wife, heard it, or my older boy told on him for saying it because he knew he'd get him in trouble, and that's what kids do. They try to get each other in trouble all the time. And so my wife has a conversation with him, and it's all handled. But then my wife is in the car talking about it with me while the kids are in the car. He says that, and I'm like, okay, well, we got to do this whole thing like it's okay to be gay, blah, 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 but don't call people that stuff to other people, blah, blah, blah. So I fasten the old seatbelt to have a conversation, because to me, I don't, and I know a lot of my viewers like disagree with this. I don't give a shit if someone's gay or not. I don't give a shit who you choose to love. Okay, because that's who you choose to love. It doesn't affect me. As long as it doesn't affect me, I could give two fucks. I really don't. Then you get into the whole talk about marriage and what defines marriage, and I'm not even getting into all that because I have views that are contrary to what I just said in regards to that, but whatever. It doesn't even matter. My son, so in the car, I go and I get ready to have that conversation with him, and I'm like, little guy, where'd you hear that? And he's like, school. And I fucking slammed on the brakes of my truck. I pulled the car over, and I'm like, what? My wife is like, oh shit, because she's heard me say, like, talking about all this shit. And I'm like, wait a second. And I'm not joking. I pulled the whole fucking car over, the truck over right on the side of Interstate 81. And I turned to him in the back seat, and I'm like, what? Like, what? All my kids are freaking out. The dogs are like shitting all over the truck and everything. And I'm like, sorry, son, you're not in any trouble. Tell me exactly what they're teaching you at school. And then he's like, well, it wasn't actually school. It was a YouTube video and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And then we realized that he just bullshit. And why he said school, I don't know. But I completely freaked out thinking that they're talking about gender and sex and preference and all that shit to a bunch of first graders. And that's where I was going to draw the line and no longer, I was going to fucking flip. And here's my rationale. That conversation, and this is the problem with a lot of people that don't understand it. That conversation that you have with a child should be the parent's job. It should be. It should be the parent's job to educate their child, or to say, and I'll be honest, my views on gay marriage and all that shit, I don't like saying marriage, but my views on gay people, it doesn't affect me. And it did change when I had my first kid. Once I had my first kid, I was like, there's literally nothing. This kid could say that he is in love with a piece of wood, and I'm still going to love him the same as I do now. It's not going to change anything to me. And so that realization of having a child and realizing, holy shit, this is unconditional love. I will always love that kid. I don't give a fuck if he, is a moron that slaps his head against a concrete brick wall every single day for fun. I would still love him just the same. And so at that point, I was like, well, fuck it. I don't give a shit about anybody, because even if my son decided that he was gay, he would still have the same support. Sure, we would have a sit down and be like, hey, are you sure you don't like women? But then it would be his preference, literally, it wouldn't affect me. So that part of me changed when I had kids. And that's it. But those are conversations that we have with our children as parents. That's our job as parents. The job of an educator, in my humble opinion, is to educate children on educational matters. What gender someone is. And it doesn't make sense, because that's it. And those are two different things, okay? Oh my God, this is going to be one of those shows I delete after, I think. Here's the thing that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, okay? And maybe I'm just going to get into things that people don't understand. I'll piss some of you off and you'll all be happy. But talking about gender is something completely different than whether someone's gay or not. It's completely different. Okay, because gender, you have a male and a female. That's it. There's nothing else. And if you're born a male, you remain a male. Now, you can go and identify yourself as a female. It doesn't fucking bother me. You can't expect me to give the appropriate pronouns or something because, well, I'm still programmed as a normal human being, meaning that my way of thinking has been embedded in my brain, and it's not going to change just because someone says I want to identify as a microphone. It doesn't make, it's not going, I'm still going to be like, yo, you're a dude, not a microphone. You know that, right? You know what I mean? But if he wants to be called a microphone, then I will try. It's like someone changing their name. It doesn't affect me, but at the same time, that's that. And then you have the whole, being gay or not. That's something completely different because I firmly believe that people make a choice or who you choose to love or whatever the fucking case is. But it's different. If you try to get me to expand on that, I'm not going to be able to. And I'm going to be talking in circles again because I don't understand, nor do I want to understand why someone is attracted to their own sex because I don't fucking care. It doesn't make any difference to me. But saying that someone is like the pronoun argument. I was thinking about that when I was driving up from Georgia myself. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, it just doesn't make any sense. You know what I was doing is I was going to make a skit where I appear at a school board meeting or something like that. And so I was like talking, I'm like, hi, my name is Steve, but I go by the pronouns unicorn microaggression or something like that. And I'm thinking about, and then I got, this is what happens when I drive. I kind of stare off into space and I start thinking about stuff and I'm like, how does this pronoun thing make sense? It really doesn't when you think about it. And the fact that teachers are even accepting of it, especially English teachers, if you know who I'm talking about, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Because when they refer, it just doesn't. Grammatically or just common sense, it doesn't make any sense, and I'll never understand it. But the reason, and I know I'm going all over the place. Welcome. That's what I do. The thing that doesn't make a lot of sense is that people are pissed. The same people that are pissed off that Florida has passed all this legislation about not talking to children in third grade or lower about gender or about gender sexual preferences or whatever the fuck they're trying to complain about are the very same people that are saying they're not doing it. Which, okay, so it's the whole thing is just kibosh. It's all stupid because all these teachers are saying they're not doing it, and yet you have teachers that are freaking out because they're not allowed to do what they say they're not doing, and it's a real head scratcher because if you're not doing it, why would you be pissed that you're not allowed to do it? Unless you really are doing it, and then you're lying to yourself and everybody else. And then Disney came out with a strong statement about it and blah, blah, blah. And we believe that people have the right to fucking influence, and that's where the whole groomer conversation came up. They're grooming kids. Because have you ever like hung out with your kid, right? And then you realize that the more you talk about like a metal band, they're like, yeah, man. And like, for example, I ran a study. This is clinical, right? So today I'm driving in my car and I was in a good mood, right? Just finished at the gym, went and picked them up. I'm listening to metal in the car. Normally it's on the news, right? I'm listening to metal. All right. And for a while, like just because we're sitting in traffic because they shut down the interstate again. So everyone was all backed up. We were sitting in traffic, and as to the beat of the music, I was hitting the brake, which causes all of our heads to do this because I do that anyway. When I listen to metal, my kids are just sitting there looking out the window like space cases. So I started doing that, right? And my kids may not like the music I listen to. The older boy listens to rap and all that shit music, and the younger boy listens to like school bus rhymes. What I don't even know what the little kid listens to. He listens to whatever's on, but the older one likes rap and all that stuff that kids do, and not necessarily my music, right? But we listened to that, and it took a long time. It took an hour to get home, even though it's only 14 miles or whatever. But traffic was crazy because they shut down the interstate and everyone was going the back way, which is the way we go. But by the end, you know what the kids were doing? And I wasn't hitting the brakes anymore. They were rocking out to the music, just like I do. And well, we had all three of us in the truck being like, yeah. you know, and then I tell my son, I'm like, listen to this girl. It's a girl. And he's like, that's a girl screaming like that. That's not a girl. And I'm like, that's a girl. That's a girl. And she's like, "Whoa." And I was like, that's cool. But you know what I started thinking about? I'm like, look, they don't like that music. And I know they don't like that music, but they listened to it for an hour, which is longer than we ever listened to the music. It was, you know, we're listening because normally if we're watching Fox News or something and they start talking about something shitty, I change it so my kids don't have to hear the horrid news that we report on every single day. They started listening and nodding their head along with it. And it kind of makes you realize, I mean, this is a far cry, and a lot of people are probably going to be like, well, Steve, that's a reach. But it kind of makes you wonder about all this grooming talk, right? Because people say that grooming isn't an issue, but we all know kids are susceptible to, well, environmental conditions, right? We know that kids will start nodding their head to music that they don't even like after a while because it's there and they're listening to it. You know what I mean? If I kept it on for a day, they'd be singing all the same songs. You know, they'd know the words. They'd start paying attention. Maybe that is the aversion to having a conversation about sexual preference with little kids, because you are then putting something else into their arena that they just can't handle. They can't. At that point, they can't. My kids don't like music, and yet they're fucking rocking out with me. They're not doing it as like a show of like, hey, Dad, we're rocking out with you. No, they couldn't even do it. They're just fucking like, what is going on with my head here? That's, you know, it's I don't know. I don't know. So then everybody's talking about, you know, back to the Disney thing, because I'm on tangents. This is the F it, I'm done. I should just change the logo and put it all up there. But, you know, it's just crazy because people are so weird about shit. Like everyone's like, cancel your Disney memberships. Let's go boycott Disney. Let's do this. Why? Because they exerted an opinion that differs from yours. Like that's the thing that doesn't make sense to me. As much as I disagree with their position, who the fuck cares what their position is? Do you understand? It's only a controversy because we are making it one. And I don't understand that. Like we as like patriots, conservatives, Republicans, whatever, Americans get so up in arms about cancel culture and about people telling us that we can and can't do things, that when other people exhibit those same qualities that we are essentially fighting for, we attack them. I'm never going to understand that. It's like, you know, canceling Oreos. And I did it myself. I didn't eat Oreos forever. Now I have so many Oreos, I can't even taste them anymore. Thanks, Dean. So I don't even eat them. And I did it myself. I didn't eat Oreos because they donated a ton of money to the terrorist organization BLM. And that was my preference. You know, and then I was like, why am I doing this? I'm not supporting them. Who fucking cares about them? I'm the one that likes Oreos. It's like the Disney stuff. I don't understand why everyone's like, oh, I canceled my membership to Disney Plus. 2 months ago. Who fucking cares? What are you standing up for? Like, what does that do? You're not supporting them for having an opinion that differs than yours? Even if the opinion is one that's radical and you'll never agree with it. That's the thing I don't understand. That's the thing that a lot of people are going to be construed if Donald Trump or if Elon Musk actually does take over Twitter. A lot of people are going to be pissed off because the people on the left, someone said they were trying to brainwash your children, Steve. The fuck they are. Have you watched a Disney movie? They may have shows or titles that I don't want, and everyone is free to cancel themselves. But when you go out and you like, for example, let's take the most current example I could give right now, right? This whole libs of TikTok, and Washington Post. So Washington Post, libs of TikTok, for anyone that doesn't know, they're on Twitter. They post videos of liberal idiots, hence libs, that post videos of people that they capture off TikTok. So TikTok is a platform that everybody knows what it is, and people feel free to go on that platform and act like morons. And a lot of the people that do it tend to be on the left. It's a very extreme. It's a millennial based app that and a lot of people feel extremely free to say all the batshit crazy shit they want. Now, libs of TikTok handpicks the craziest of the crazy liberal talk that's on there and post it out and post it on social media. Now, they've gone out and been on news and stuff like that, and they've been featured. Their videos, because this person behind it must spend hours and hours and hours a day on this platform. And so they've gone on Tucker Carlson, they've gone on Fox News, they've been interviewed on all different media outlets anonymously because they didn't want their information to become public, talking about the videos of other people. It's not like they're editing the video and then giving a breakdown of the video. No, they literally just post the video. So the Washington Post, some bonehead writer for them, Taylor something, I don't care. She wrote an article and essentially doxed this woman that runs the Libs of TikTok. Posted a link to a real estate license, which apparently had her home address or some address on there. The Washington Post stood by it. This reporter went to the person's home, and they wrote this big article about how this woman is the whole article really, if you have the slightest bit of intelligence, you saw through the article. But that's a problem that a lot of Americans don't. We just see shit one-sided, and so us reading the article, we knew that there was a lot. We knew it was a hit piece. Anyone that's on the right or a rational American, anyone who sees it, that this article is a hit piece. There's no journalistic integrity involved in writing this. It's not even newsworthy. The only reason it's newsworthy and the only reason we're all talking about it is because they attack someone that is literally taking videos off of one platform, posting them on another and saying, look at these fucking morons. That is why it became a big deal. So this writer goes and doxes this lady, and then this lady, and it goes back and forth. The writer actually went to people's houses that were related to the lady behind Libs of TikTok, and it keeps going on. And here's the thing that's crazy, right? That's just the background for this. Here's the thing that's crazy. Now there's a terrible amount of people that are going back and doxing each other over it. So you have the left doxing the right and the right doxing the left. And so everyone's posting. Well, and this is the thing that's fucking mind-boggling to me. I saw one person saying, well, we should post all the personal information of the Washington Post editor and the writer and the house and their families and post that all online. And people are like, no, we don't do that. We're not like them. And then you have other people doing the same thing, going back and forth. And it's all these people that are calling one group of people out for something, for doxing, and then they're literally doxing. Like, you know what I mean? And it doesn't make any sense. It's like, I guess we're in the, if you can't beat them, join them. Or if you find something offensive from the other party, just do it yourself, and then it's no longer offensive anymore. I don't understand this constant push to cancel each other. I really don't. I understand. I've been the subject of that. Our videos get flagged and deleted left and right. I'm being sued as an attempt to try to cancel our journalism. I know all about this stuff, and I don't do that. I'm not like, let's go boycott. Let's do a protest outside this place because they have a view that's different than mine. I don't fucking care. And I don't know why Americans are so focused. And this goes, it's partisan. I don't know why Americans are so focused at tearing each other down all the time. Whether it's a company you disagree with, whether it's a company you agree with, it doesn't matter. But that's what, I don't know. It just, I have a hard time understanding it. I have a hard time understanding how people on the right can complain about censorship while trying to censor other people. Can anyone explain that? Like, and that's the truth. Someone said, who chooses which morals are right or wrong? Nobody. The person that is reading it. That it's not anybody's choice. You don't get to deem whether what I do is acceptable or not. You just make the determination of what you do or what you say. People can oppose. And we used to live, did we ever live in a society where you could freely say what you want and not have it be misconstrued? Marjorie Taylor Greene is essentially losing. She lost, her motion for injunction today to be because there's a whole group of people that are trying to keep her off of the ballot because of things she said about January 6th. The fact that she doesn't think that political prisoners should be held without bail. The fact that she believes that there was shit weird about the election. So they are literally trying, and they may become successful at keeping her off of the ballot because of things she said. We have to understand how much of a dangerous place we are as a country, where anything that one person says can be cut. And they started doing this with Donald Trump. Or maybe that was the first time I realized it. Remember when he said, like the rapists and stuff coming across the border, and that clip was played over and over, and the whole context of that clip was never played until months later. Months later. And so everyone kept saying, well, Donald Trump called all Mexicans, losers and rapists or whatever. Which wasn't true. It wasn't true at all. And it didn't matter because that clip was already put out there. Now, we seem to have gone past that, where we would take a fragment of what they've said and manipulate that into something else, and it still goes on. But you know what happens now is, instead of going after, you don't even do that. You just attack what they say. It doesn't even matter the context of it, because now you just surmise your own context, and then you attack them for being nuts, or for being a radical, or being an insurrectionist, or a patriot, or being a QAnon fan. But people on the right, and I want people to understand this, is people on the right do this to the people on the left as well, while criticizing them. They do it as an excuse. We'll say, well, they do it to us, so we're going to do it back while we're going to complain about them doing it to us. Doesn't make sense. And I saw someone say, well, Steve is just trying to cater to his whole audience. No, this is the way I believe. I don't understand why people push to have shit canceled. For me, I like Oreos. I'm going to buy Oreos. There may be a company that says, if I make a choice to not eat, well, no, see, because I make that choice all the time. It's like, if I don't like something, I don't eat it again, right? And it has nothing to do with their politics or what they say or the positions of their company. I've never made a decision based on that besides Oreos, ever in my life. I've never once said, I'm not going to use this product because of the way they align with social justice. Until I did with the Oreos. You know what I mean? Does people understand? Do people understand? It doesn't make sense. Someone said, we don't brainwash the left's kids into being trans. I'm not advocating for that kind of talk at all. I don't believe that has any business being in school. Okay, and again, that's called conversation. When they make a stupid ass statement that you disagree with, what do? You make the conversation back. You say something back to them. You don't try to cancel them and get their employers fired and all this shit. And there's certain examples that are different, right? We've seen and we've publicly called for teachers that are doing things harmful, like physical harm, like immediate physical harm. We've gotten teachers suspended and shit when they do something stupid, or police officers who cross the line, or workers, there's, back when we were Freight Broker Live, there's a security guard at a Lowe's that assaulted someone, and that person that was assaulted sent us the video. That security guard was fired and had his license to be a licensed security guard actually revoked based on our reporting. But that's different than what's going on now. Right now, what we have is these I wouldn't even call them groups. It's you have people that are on either side of the party just constantly attacking. It's not debate. It's not discourse. What they're doing is attacking and trying to harm them. And it's not just violent harm and all that, but that's what it is. When you call someone's employer to try to get them fired because of what they believe or what they've said online, that is harmful. That is you are literally deliberately trying to harm them. And I don't understand why people do it. I know the left does it, and I know the right, for example, in 2020, they did it all the time. If you disagreed with them, we've had Mercado try to get my advertising to pull. We've had that. We've had people contact, contact my wife's school. We've had all these people that talk about all this shit. But at the same time, why? What does that achieve? They are trying to cause harm. And so we are trying to do the same thing by, it just, I don't know. I'm just trying to understand it, and I can't. You know what I mean? I just can't for the life of me. Someone said, left kids, children are not political. Children are not political. And that's why we have the legal system. That's why. And again, you guys, you're missing something. So what do you do when there's something that you disagree with, right? Or a law you disagree with, or a privilege that needs to be restricted, like the freedom of speech, apparently. Or Disney CEO comes out and makes a statement about something that we all fundamentally disagree with. Right? We just, as a principled person, we disagree with. Do you not believe? See, here's the question right now. Everybody that thinks that Well, no. How do I say this? Do you follow every single law and agree with every single law that's on the books right now? And if you say yes, that you agree with every single law in the book, well, you're an insane human being. Because everybody has disagreements. Everybody has things they disagree with and policies they disagree with. And if we take away that right to have that discourse, if we take away that right to be able to say, hey, even if it's fucking warped, we are in a bad spot. Do you understand? And that's the thing. If you take away the right to criticize a law or criticize something that you disagree with, whatever the batshit crazy reason you disagree with said law, who are we? And that's exactly what's happening to Disney. Disney's CEO or whoever it was and their employees stood up for something that they believe in, even though it's fucking warped and not true, and criticize this law, and then everybody's attacking them. Everybody is. And I don't understand that aspect, because the people that are attacking him are the same people that are going out and saying, well, we want the right to say what we want. We want the right to object when something's wrong. But you don't have that right, which is an argument we make about the left. Does that make sense? Someone said, sad thing about it is the left uses the children for a political tool. Yes, and I understand that, and I'm not advocating for that at all. Okay, but what we've done and what is the thing that you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? We pass laws to change those, and that's exactly what the Florida law is the Florida law, the Don't Say Gay bill, even though the word gay isn't even in it. That bill was meant to protect the children. That bill, that law is in place to protect children and to restrict the ability of teachers from going outside of their licensed, subject areas and provide I wouldn't even call it education, provide fucked up scenarios to little kids. That's what it's for. Do you understand? Like, here's someone in the chat that said, oh my God, pedophiles equals Disney. Where, Patty, right now, without Googling anything, tell me why you said that. Tell me what makes you believe that the people that work at Disney, all 80,000 of them, are pedophiles? Right now, like in the chat, right now. You're on Facebook. Don't Google anything. Tell me what it is that you know so far that you can make such a dumbass statement. Like, I'm really confused. I'm really confused at just people. Someone said, yeah, and it's being twisted to fit the left narrative. No, it's not. People are letting it be twisted. You're letting it. The law passed. It's not going to be twisted to fit any narrative, because who listens to the narrative? The law passed. That is the law. It's not going to change no matter what's going to happen. They're not going to repeal the law now. It's not going to change. You can't talk to kids about sexual orientation unless they're in 4th grade in Florida, which you shouldn't be doing anywhere. I'm surprised it wasn't a law. Someone said, I'm not Googling, but I know 4 were arrested for child porn. Yeah, you know how many teachers are arrested for it? Truck drivers, cops, everybody. That shit happens all the time. It happens all the time. This is the problem, is people make dumbass statements. And I'm sorry that I'm not calling you a dumbass. I'm saying your statements are dumbass. They just did a news update with several employees who are being charged. It happens everywhere. We just had an article about a teacher that was arrested for it on citizenstringer.com. Are you going to make the announcement that all teachers are pedophiles now based on your incredible fucking work there? What about a warehouseman that steals guns? Are all warehousemen now, gun thefts? Are all truck drivers that speed all speeders? Are all cops that kill people all bad cops? Where do you draw that line to rational fucking thinking? That is my confusion right here with it, because we've literally argued that same point, the point that I just made, and yet people are now saying, well, all cops aren't bad, but all Disney employees are. Do you know what I mean? Someone said it wasn't a dumbass statement. It was. It absolutely was a dumbass statement. Someone said, don't broad brush it. Yeah. Teachers aren't working for a huge company that promotes gross, nasty lifestyles. Again, neither is Disney. What statement that Disney made, they objected to a fucking bill. Okay? A bill that I agree with wholeheartedly. But I also believe people, a private individual who happened to be the CEO of Disney, a private individual has a right to say something even if you disagree with it. That's the point that I'm trying to get across to people. Oh, okay, Patty. There you go. Walt Disney is full-fledged Illuminati. Fucking A. Okay, there you go. Now I understand your mindset. And you've been watching for a long time, and I'm not criticizing you, but that makes sense now. Someone said LGBTQ and transgender and 50% in all of their programming. Okay, whatever. The Senate canceled Disney's self-governing powers. Yes, the Florida Senate. Yes. Someone else said, you're wrong. Disney producers have said, put as much queer. See, do you understand why this is such a big story? Do you understand why everybody's pushing this gay narrative all the time? It's because it gets waves. It is something that is going to always get traction. Always get traction. Because they'll put out a movie and then people will object to that movie. They'll boycott that movie and it'll do well in the box office because of that. All the negative fucking fury that everybody gives everything. I don't understand why we just cancel people. I don't understand it. Nobody can rationalize that cancel culture. Everyone complains about cancel culture while trying to cancel everybody else. For everyone, right? And again, I understand the argument behind it. Okay, but I'm never going to infringe on someone else's right to say what they want, even if it's fucking warped. As long as it's not, as long as they're not threatening to blow up an airplane, I'm not going to infringe on someone's right. It's a constitutional right. I'm not going to do it. I may make a private choice not to buy that. I've never made that choice before. But, I don't base my decisions on what the political opinions are of people. Someone said, you've got to harden your stance so the leftists will continue to take control of everything in this country. No, because there's some things the leftists can't take control of. And unless you let them, unless you're a pushover. Leftists can't take control of you. They can't take control of me. They just can't. Not supporting them and canceling doxing individuals are different, in my opinion. Yeah, but and we're not talking about just you making a private decision not to, patronize a store. No, we're talking about the people that are going out and trying to ruin said company. All the people right now that are cheering on Netflix for losing 37% of their worth in 2 days because subscribers are canceled. All the people cheering that on. Like everyone's like showing this trailer of some new movie where dudes can give birth or some shit like that. It'd be like, oh my God, what a gross fucking thing. Do you remember the movie from the 90s with Arnold Schwarzenegger? Where were all those people saying, oh my God, it's gross. Arnold is having a baby. Who fucking cares? Don't like the movie. Don't watch it. Write a shitty review. Maybe we'll make a movie review section on Citizen Stringer and you guys can write the fucking reviews. But who fucking cares? People are literally applauding Netflix for losing money because they're putting out some bullshit show you disagree with. Like, now I remember they had that weird one with the kids. That one was fucked up. Okay. But Netflix does have good shows. I just don't cancel it. I don't believe in the cancel culture. Someone said, what morals does a civil society have to agree in order to remain civil? I love you and so wish you could answer the fundamental root of the issue. You don't need to agree on anything. You need to learn to be principled and you need to learn to, and say, this is what matters to me. I don't give a fuck what matters to somebody else. The problem is what we're trying to do is we're trying to say my morals or what I believe in is more important than what you believe in, which is why we will never get anywhere as a country. It's what's happening in politics. It's what's happening in the chat. It's what's happening everywhere. We all are trying to tear down the other group and say that what I believe and what I think are more important than what you think. And that is the reason why we are failing as a country. That is the reason why we are failing as Americans. And that is the reason why we will continue to fail. Because we are not concerned with what is best for us anymore. We are concerned with what is best for you. And it's it's mind-boggling to me. It's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. Someone said, do you support Coke or Nike? They use your money to promote what your values. Here's the thing, okay? I don't fucking care what other companies do. I don't care if Nike, their shoes suck. And Coke products suck ass too. I'm a Pepsi guy. But I don't care. I don't care. Yeah, sure, they want to give money to BLM. But yeah, now they're living that up now. They're like, oh, well, that fucking sucked. They bought a mansion. They didn't give any money to black charity. Oh, well, that was a stupid move. What about all the good they do? I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I'm sure they do something good. Or you just like their product. I don't understand. Someone said you can't roll over and take it. Taking the high ground just leads to getting massacred. Nobody's talking about that. It's about remembering what your principles are and what's important to you. It's not about trying to cancel other people and make them believe what you believe. How many times do I say that about the premise of the show? This show is not meant to try to convince you to agree with me. This show is meant so you agree or so you understand what I'm saying and make your own determination on what you believe in and what you disagree with. It's not meant to be like, you need to listen to everything I say. You need to start writing it down. You need to live your life the way I live my life. Why? Because we don't want a bunch of robots. That's not what life is supposed to be. Why have, someone said, why have principles if there's no consistency? What do you mean? Where did, I don't know. I've already said it like 50 fucking times. Where do we get off trying to tell people what to do with their lives? We literally criticize people on the right have criticized people on the left for their COVID policies, right? And the reason is because they were pushing the masks, they were pushing the mandates because that is what they wanted you to do. That is what they wanted everyone to get vaccinated. Why? Because it protects them, according to them. They want everyone to wear a mask. Why? Because it protects them, according to them. Well, they want you to do this. They want you to teach this. They want you to do this. Why? Not because they want to. People understand what I'm saying. I hope. Maybe. Because I'm losing my train of thought here because it's just crazy. It just is. It's crazy. It's crazy that I can have a conversation for 49 minutes about this and still not have any fucking rational clue what the fuck I'm talking about. Because that's essentially what's going on now. Someone said, we're tired of this crap being shoved down our throats. I don't want to be a unicorn at it, but I don't want it shoved in my face. I don't know what that means either. Do you understand that if we stop? Because here's the thing. I get with the policy make. I get when you're trying to push bills. I get why you're trying to do that. And we have a system, or we're supposed to have a system in place where we could stop that, right? We do. School boards, school districts teaching shit that we disagree with. What do? We run for school board. We get on the school board and we nix that shit from happening again. That is what people do. That is what this country is supposed to be. It's not meant to, or we're not supposed to go and dox all the school board members and send them harassing messages and shit on all the parents that go to, cite their opinion. That is what the left did in 2020, 2019, 2018, 2021. And everyone on the right jumped on them for it. Remember in Loudoun County, they had this Facebook group where they doxed all the parents of all the parents who objected to the mask mandates and all that stuff. Remember that? And some of those people were school board members that were part of it. And everyone criticized and said it's fucking crazy. And then the same people that criticized that are now doing the same exact thing. And that's exactly what's happening in my wife's district right now, because the school board members, conservatives, believe that CRT is being taught in schools. My wife says it's not, but I have no doubt in my mind that it is. They're trying to cut the budget of teachers, which doesn't even affect the teachers as much as it affects the students. They're cutting the classrooms are going to go bigger and all this stuff instead of actually addressing the root issues. And that's not even the school board that's doing it. That's a board of supervisors. Someone said, Steve, I think you need to look into this big more. The board meeting was aired and the leadership of Disney said they want to influence your kids by putting 50% of their characters as LGBTQ. I don't fucking care. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. I don't care. If I see a show where two dudes are fucking making out, I'm going to tell my kid to fucking change the channel. That's my prerogative. That's my right to do it. Just as a private company can make their own determinations. This is where a lot of people disagree. Remember Bank of America, right? Bank of America in Texas, where the woman was arrested because she refused to put on a mask, and Bank of America said you have to wear a mask or you have to leave. She refused. She refused to be there, and the bank said, well, you have to leave. She refused. The police came and arrested her, and she resisted and all that stuff. Remember that? Everyone objected to that because there no mandates are in place. They can't force you to wear that mask. A private business can. Have you ever heard of no shirt, no shoes, no service? A business has the right to make up their own policies. When you remove that right, i.e. put mandates in place on the federal and state level that say you no longer have the right to make your own determination on what you want to do, and instead we are going to tell you what to do. When you remove that right, the government comes in and dictates everything. So people object to something based on their dislike for something, whether or not it's... A lot of people, when I did when I talked about the Bank of America thing originally, they got really pissed off at me because the only thing they could see is the mask. They couldn't see that a business has the right to make their own determination on who and what they do and serve and live and all that shit. Like, for example, I talked about the business here that has the LGBTQ flag and all that stuff. And I may not have, my wife and I had a really long conversation about it. And she's like, would you go there to eat? And I said, no, probably not. And I'm like, why? And I'm like, because they choose to put a LGBTQ flag up in front of the store instead of an American flag. Based on who I believe, it's not something that I personally agree with. If they had an American flag up, would it change my mind? Who the fuck knows? They don't. So that that's where I draw the line. Almost every business on this main street here has American flags all the way up and down. I don't give a fuck about the individual's lifestyle or what their choices are out there, but I make a determination of what I believe and what I see. And it's just like here, people are not going to come into my store because they know our political affiliations. That is their right to do so. Just as if someone came in here and was wearing a shirt that said fuck Trump, I'd probably say, hey, dude, fuck off. Like, you know what I mean? Or someone that says, hey, I like to snort cocaine. I'm probably going to say, hey, dude, fuck off. Or someone that wears a shirt and says Biden is a good president, I'm probably going to do the same thing and say, hey, dude, fuck off. Because that's my right as a business owner. I get to make that right. Everyone on Citizen Stringer, in 1 minute, 30 seconds, this video is going to end. It's wrapping up for everyone, but I have it all queued up. It's going to play a couple of commercials, and then Tilly starts right at 6. The new software is working pretty good, but I don't know. I may not have done a good job trying to say this today, but we have to stop trying to control other people and remember that we can control ourselves, and we are the ones that matter. If you keep being a victim. And that's exactly what you are. If you're letting other people influence your daily life, you are being a victim. Stop being a victim. What someone else believes and what someone else cares about, sure, it could affect you. It doesn't mean you have to live that way. Stop canceling people. Stop objectifying people. Stop fucking caring what someone else thinks of you. Live your life. That's what people have to do. Someone said, so just so you know, Steve, your kids will grow up. What do I want them to remember? Exactly what I just said. They have the right to do whatever and say whatever and be whoever they want. You know why? Because that is the right that I fight for every single day. That is it. Nothing else matters to me. Not a fucking thing. The only thing that matters to me is that they understand that they have every right to succeed, regardless of how they want to do it. If my son wants to wear a fucking dress growing up, I may think it's weird. He can do that. And I will fight for his right to do that. Because that's what we all should do as Americans. Thank you for